All right, gonna make a video here real quick. First of all, let's take a look. See this big old toolbox? It's got wheels. Okay. See this service cart? It's got wheels. Got another service cart. It's got wheels. So what does this have to do with anything, right? Well, guys, I've been working on this. Been looking at this thing where people are hiring and they're paying $19 to $20 an hour. So I decided to do some digging and try to figure out what the heck is this whole mess about. Given the current economic situation, there's a lot of guys that have been displaced, and some of them, it's kind of ironic. Some of the dealerships that are hiring are dealerships that displaced a bunch of their guys in the beginning. And they use the current situation or the pandemic to say, oh, well, and it did slow down, but they didn't keep nobody. They got rid of everybody, and they'd say, oh, well, as soon as it picks up, we'll call you. A lot of guys are not getting called back, and a lot of the guys are not getting called back, seems like, because they are high paid techs. So they're hiring guys that are cheaper, but yet on paper they're asking for a lot of qualifications. But the truth of the matter is they'll take anybody that can turn a wrench if you're willing to work for what they're offering. I've seen $14, $15, $16, and these are people that are asking for certifications, 3-4 years experience. The ones that are 19 to 20, they're asking for 10 to 8 years of experience, verifiable experience, plus accreditation, ASC, all that stuff. And some are, brand particular, whether it's Asian, European, or American. So, first of all, the reason we're having all of this is because we have what's called blue collar worker and white collar worker. And I went to go look up the definition of blue collar worker, and it basically means a person who performs manual labor that may be skilled or may not be skilled. So white collar labor is management, administrative, that type of scenario. But in my book, what I'm seeing is blue collar is anybody that doesn't have a degree, and that's sad, because the world now is, a lot of organizations, because they are ran by investment groups, and and I'm not talking just automotive. There's all kinds of businesses that are not owned by the company. They're actually part of an investment group. They've got investors that they got to pay dividends to, or they got to pay stuff to, because the quarterly dividends, in other words, they invest $100,000 and they get a percentage on that investment, plus that money that they invested is guaranteed if they decide to get out. Of course, more bigger companies, they are what they call stockholders. But there's also a lot of smaller businesses which have investors, local businessmen, doctors, lawyers, just people that have means to support another business. And so they'll invest in body shops, auto repair shops, custom carpentry work, paint shops, house building, plumbing businesses, and they invest, and it's a good strategy for them. They get to invest $100,000, and they get to get a dividend, or they get to get a payment, an interest payment quarterly, and their money's guaranteed when they want to get out. Okay, we covered that. So it's unfortunate that there's a lot of blue collar jobs that are actually considered blue collar, but they should really be more on the white collar side. Because what it boils down to, guys, is this: a lot of these companies that are investment groups, they look at regions and then they look at the pay scale for blue collar jobs. And when I say blue collar, I'm talking cooks, uh, car wash people, everybody and anybody, servers, hostess, bartender, everybody's lump sum into the blue collar side. So they look at the blue collar scale and they'll say, okay, for this area, the blue collars, are anywhere from minimum wage to a skilled blue collar, which is going to be like a carpenter, a painter, a plumber, auto mechanic. We're going to be the skilled uh, blue collar, and they see that yes, there's one or two or three or four or five technicians that makes above 6 digits, but the majority of the guys make under 40,000. So what they do is they look at the general salary, and what that means is they take everybody's salary. Some of you guys are familiar with the team concept, right? You got your lube tech, you got your suspension guy, you got your drivability guy, and then you got your master tech. They all pull together, and then however many hours they pull gets divided into the team, which is another strategy that corporations are using to get more profits out of the business. And it works extremely well for them to pay the investors, to pay the organization, and they still have money. They're building wealth. They're storing wealth. Okay, well, this whole topic can go pretty wide, so I'm going to try to stay on track. Okay. So they take the average of everybody that's a mechanic, Jiffy Lube, Walmart tech, discount tire tech, anybody that does anything with cars. And then what they do is they will take all the salaries. Okay, let's say there's 10 guys that work at a lube shop, and they make anywhere between $12 to $15 a piece. Okay, and then let's say we have a tire shop, and them guys get $10 an hour a piece. And then let's say that we have 3 guys that make $35 an hour a piece. And then let's say we have another set of guys that work at a brake specialty shop, and they only get $12 an hour a piece for 20 guys. So what they'll do is they'll add up the amount of pay per individual and divide it by the total amount of guys. I don't know if a lot of guys know that or not. So if you got 5 guys out of 50 that are making in the 6-figure range, and you got 50% that are in the 30,000 range, and then everybody else is below the $20,000 range. Well, guess what the average is? Yeah, it goes way down. And then the people, through their eyes, what they do is they say, okay, well, the average pay is $19 for skilled labor. But it's unfortunate because I think the modern car for the past 20 years has gotten so complicated that, you have to have a scope, you have to have scanners, you have to have testing devices, you have to have, online support, you have to have literature, you have to have Mitchell on demand, you have to have all data, Identifix, you have to have all these services that have to support you. But all of them services are a waste of money if you don't have the individuals that are capable of processing the information, picking the quickest route to get to the solution. And what happens is we got too many guys that have scanners. We have too many guys that have access to TSBs, but they're some are quick to judge. And there's a good example. Joe's Auto Electric just posted 2 videos on AC. One's on a T800 880 Kenworth, and the other one is an automotive car, and it's air conditioners don't want to work. I highly recommend you go visit Joe's Auto Electric and go see uh, what he found and what he did, and it's pretty interesting. But the point is, we now have cars that require the intelligence level of a person with a master's degree to work on these vehicles with CAN bus and body modules and all these different things going on. And it's been proven. You go look, there's been several studies that the educational level or the level of intelligence by a person that can fully uh, work a scope, a scanner, all the data, process it, and work on these complicated cars, has an intelligence level of a person with a master's degree. Master's degree is 7 years of committed studying. You don't do nothing but just study and focus on your trade. Um, and I think there's some guys, to their credit, that it comes to them very naturally, and they're able to do it in a couple of years. They're able to make things happen, and they're very good. But that's a testament to their intelligence. That's a testament to their commitment to being the best at what they do. But it's unfortunate that mechanics are considered blue collar, skilled labor versus white collar, which to me, white collar has always been identified with a higher level of intelligence, um, you know, and that's it. Because I can tell you this, I've been told several times by administrative people, there's no way we could ever do your job. And it's unfortunate, but we've seen cases over and over where guys that grow up, from the oil change bays, they can work their way up to the management position, and they do really well because, they come from the bottom up, and there's a lot of people that are at the top that can't come down and do our jobs. That's the honest truth. I'll give you a case in point. I used to have this. There used to be this girl, and she worked at a shop. I'm not going to say what kind of shop. It was a high volume shop, and she'd been there for quite a amount of years. And she worked her way through, and she was writing anywhere between, I think, 40 to 80 tickets a day. So she was averaging 60 tickets a day. Tickets. Not to mention all the upselling she was doing, right? And she was really good at upselling. She just had a natural, she just had a niche for upselling, and she had a strong client base. Well, as the years went on, the manager or the person above her, they retired. So she thought, all right, she goes, I'm gonna get it because she deserved it. First of all, she deserved it. She could make it work. She understood all the ins and the outs. She was on top of her game. I mean, just to make it short, she was on top of her game. But she didn't have a college degree. And the current management at that point had decided that one of the requisites was you had to have a degree to be part of the upper management. So they went and they employed a individual with a 4-year college degree that had very little automotive experience, and they handed it to him. And of course, I don't blame her. She was pretty upset, so she went ahead and she went her way, and that shop suffered because guess what? Your client base, they get accustomed to a level of service, they get accustomed to a level of quality, and when that changes, you start losing them fast. And you know what they say, for every 10 customers you lose, you might only get one. So the ones you got to hold on to. But it's a shame because she was considered blue collar, and they wouldn't bump her pay, and they wouldn't give her a promotion because she didn't have a degree. But anyway, and that's the sad state of affairs for technicians. We're considered blue collar, skilled labor, and not much more. When really, we're skilled labor that has a lot of intelligence that's required to work on today's modern cars, heavy equipment, big trucks. I mean, I don't care what you're talking about. Everything is 100 times more complicated than it was 100 years ago. Hey, everybody, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I hope you guys liked it. I know it's kind of off wind, but it's just something I wanted to share. And I'd really like to see what you guys think, what your thoughts are on this subject. Blue collar versus white collar. And don't you think mechanics should be viewed as more of an asset? Because, you know, when you're a blue collar, it's like next man up, you know, like they can just go ahead and, you know, let this mechanic that can do all these things walk, and the next guy coming up should be able to do it. When it's not, you know, I mean, there's a certain group of guys, and everybody's at a different level. But thanks for watching. If you like what I'm saying, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to share, and don't forget to leave a comment. I really would appreciate a comment and some feedback on that. Thanks a lot.